From humble beginnings to media tycoon, this billionaire is responsible for some of the best and biggest movies ever created. And he's not just a regular producer. This man fundamentally changed Hollywood and the entire film industry. Alongside his long list of blockbuster credits, he owns the Pittsburgh Steelers and even opens on tour for the Rolling Stones. Now, with his new venture, Tulco, he is using artificial intelligence to revolutionize a broad range of industries. This is the inspiring story of Thomas Tull. Hi, I'm Sean, and welcome to Mindwave. Thomas Tull is the former CEO and founder of Legendary Entertainment, boasting an impressive list of movie credits and an even more impressive list of innovations. Thomas Tull has become an influential powerhouse. But it was not always like this. Thomas grew up in Endwell, New York, in a low-income neighborhood and raised by a single mother who worked 2 jobs. By the age of 10, Thomas was shoveling driveways and doing other odd jobs to help pay the bills. He unpresumptuously attributes much of his future success to the grit that comes with hard work at such a young age. Thomas was an industrious youth with eclectic interests that ranged from music to math, science, and sports. He was an avid baseball and football player, eventually earning himself a football scholarship to Hamilton College. After graduating Hamilton in 1992, Thomas moved back home to Endwell, where he abandoned his plans to become a lawyer and instead seized an opportunity to start a chain of auto shops and laundromats that were sorely missing in the region. Among his innovations in the laundry space was the idea to fluctuate prices according to the demand at different times of day. Soon, Thomas sold his chains and diverted his attention into the finance sector, and for a while, he was making a living buying and selling tax and accounting offices. Then, by 2001, Thomas was hired by the Convex Group, an Atlanta-based investment company. At the time, Convex Group was heavily investing in the entertainment sector, and so Thomas began to learn the nuances of media financing. What Thomas learned and then acted upon would change the entertainment industry forever. See, Thomas came to the realization that the entertainment industry was behaving very differently from any other industry of its size. But what was this difference? It was funding. At the time, the movie business was a $30 billion industry and the country's second biggest export, yet there was simply no institutional capital. But what exactly is institutional capital? Institutional capital is basically the very large pool of money that a financial institution uses to invest with. The key component of institutional capital, aside from the enormous sums of money associated with it, is that it is organized with a long-term view on the intended investment business.
So if you get money from your neighbor who's a successful dentist, next year, the dentist may say, hey, times are hard, I need my money back. If you're partners with, Fidelity or Morgan Stanley or any of these institutions, they have the capital and the wherewithal to say, okay, I'm looking at this over the next 5 to 10 years. And I thought there was an opportunity to bring that type of capital to the movie business to be patient.
Essentially, Thomas wanted to bring Wall Street to Hollywood. Once Thomas was fully taken by the idea and convinced himself that it was possible, he quit Convex and started Legendary Entertainment in 2004. He then set out to the capital markets to raise money. By no easy feat, Thomas was able to raise $500 million from major Wall Street private equity and hedge fund investors, such as AIG, Bank of America, ABRY Partners, and more. Thomas claims that this was a Herculean accomplishment and was by far the toughest thing he had ever done in his career. With the newly raised capital, Thomas orchestrated a partnership between Legendary and Warner Brothers to jointly finance and produce up to 40 films over 7 years. Legendary came out with a bang, releasing their inaugural film, Batman Begins. Batman Begins grossed over $374 million in the box office and set the pace for Legendary's subsequent success. In the following year, Legendary solidified its place in history by releasing distinguished films like Superman Returns, We Are Marshall, and 300. The complete list of highly acclaimed Legendary films is extensive, but here are a few notable ones. The Dark Knight, Watchmen, The Hangover, Inception, Man of Steel, Pacific Rim, Interstellar, Jurassic World, Straight Outta Compton, Steve Jobs, and Dune. With the obvious success of Legendary, it is clear that Thomas's financial innovation was revolutionary. But there is more. Not only did Thomas fiscally alter the way that movies are made, he also analytically altered the way that movies are made. Thomas was the first person to introduce big data into the movie-making business. See, at the time, and still to a degree today, Hollywood has had a reluctance to use data and a reflexive resistance to the idea of it. The Hollywood culture largely views art as a fundamentally human abstraction that is untouchable by numbers and computers, and ultimately trying to do so is the subsequent death of art. Despite this, Thomas created Hollywood's first data department and strategically based his analytics team in Boston to maintain an unbiased stance instead of being influenced by industry executives. Using a host of strategies, Thomas's AI experts in Boston focused on optimizing 4 main areas: making marketing spends more efficient, creating better trailers, identifying bombs earlier, and for directing general creative decisions such as concepts and casting. Obviously, this move was a success, and Legendary has made and saved countless millions with the influence of data. By 2016, Legendary Entertainment ballooned into a $3.5 billion Goliath and was acquired in cash by the Wanda Cultural Industry Group, China's largest media conglomerate. This sale bestowed Thomas with an over $1.5 billion personal fortune. In the wake of his new billionaire status, Thomas has kept himself quite busy with various projects centering on his newest venture, Tulco. Tulco is a holding company that buys certain businesses in key industries and then infuses these companies with advanced data science teams and tools, thereby allowing these companies to unlock rapid, sustainable growth. The key is that Tulco identifies static industries that are slow to modernize with current computational technologies, and then capitalizes on this by acquiring a business in the space and then retrofitting it with leading edge and proprietary technologies. At Tulco, Thomas created a large AI lab that employs scientists from Carnegie Mellon and MIT to create operational efficiencies in each of Tulco's companies. Thomas also sits on the board of both of these educational institutions. A few notable ventures within the Tulco family are Figs, a healthcare apparel brand that went public on the New York Stock Exchange in 2020 for $3 billion. Roadrunner Recycling, which is an Uber-like service that incentivizes waste haulers and optimizes recycling routes. Rebuild, which is an industrial manufacturing group that integrates new technologies into conventional manufacturing businesses and aims to significantly bring back manufacturing jobs to the US and strengthen the US workforce. Colossal, which focuses on de-extinction using gene editing and aims to bring back the woolly mammoth to the Arctic tundra. Rivendell Farms, which is a farm located outside of Pittsburgh and is at the forefront of agricultural robotics. At Rivendell Farms, they utilize state-of-the-art robotic milkers for their cows and have a whole host of proprietary robots for maximizing crop production. Acrisure, which is one of the largest fintech and insurance companies in the world. Thomas and the Tulco team grew Acrisure from an annual revenue of $38 million to $3.8 billion in just 8 years. Additionally, with the help of Thomas, Acrisure recently bought the naming rights to the Pittsburgh Steelers stadium, whom Thomas bought in 2008. Also, by the way, Thomas is on the board of directors for the Baseball Hall of Fame. And if that is not all, Thomas goes on tour and opens for the Rolling Stones. In 2018, Thomas assembled a band called Ghost Hounds. Ghost Hounds released their first album in 2019 titled Roses Are Black. The band's website describes their sound as a fusion of blues, rock, and plenty of soul. Thomas plays guitar for the band and has his hand in writing many of the songs. Along with touring for the infamous Rolling Stones, the band has also played alongside Bob Seger, Garth Brooks, and ZZ Top. I'd say that this is one of the most epic ways to live the billionaire lifestyle.
You know, I say this and I really mean it. My life is like a Punk'd episode that just hasn't, no one's burst in yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's as cool as you think it is.
In closing, I'd like to say that through my research, I have come to the conclusion that Thomas Tull is exceedingly conscientious, gracious, and inspiringly humble. I am sure that this is not the end of the Thomas Tull story, and there are plenty more innovative and exciting endeavors to come. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching. If you found this video interesting, then click here to learn about another fascinating billionaire, the man who is ushering in the next wave of innovation into the media industry.